Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our session, Scale AI Agents in Production. I'm Ryan Ismert. I'm a product manager on the Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform team, and I'll be joined here today by my colleague Elia and by two of our favorite customers, Praveen from Comcast and Tejul from Palo Alto Networks. We have a full schedule for this session. I'll start us off with an overview of Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform and how it helps you address the challenges of running your agents in production. Then Elia will give us a demo of this path from deployment all the way into production with observability. And we'll dive into two case studies from Comcast and Palo Alto Networks to make it all real for you. So if you were paying attention to the signage in the hallway, it proclaims pretty loudly that we're in the agents era. You're here today, so I'm sure I don't have to convince you of this. One of the most exciting things for me is how rapidly the state of the art in agentic capabilities, architectures, and best practices continues to evolve. It's exciting, but the constant change can make it very difficult planning for production scale deployments. Today, we're going to talk about how Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform helps handle some of these challenges so that you all can focus on addressing the unique value proposition that you bring to your customers. Let's talk for just a minute about how agents are changing. Today's agents can take autonomous action. They reason and plan. At times, they learn continuously, and more commonly, they engage in complex multi-agent orchestration to solve problems for you and for your customers. These increasingly capable agents do all of these things to unlock massive opportunities for our organizations. True agents are not just about gaining efficiency or improved productivity. They are truly autonomous systems that work around the clock, allowing your employees and your organizations to do things that were never before possible. Investments in your organizations in agents are being driven by real benefits. So how do we deploy and scale agents to maximize this value? As we announced this week, Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform is our offering to help you realize exceptional return on investment for your agents. It's a core foundational platform that helps organizations build, scale, govern, and optimize agents so that you can scale infinitely in the cloud. Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform is a new name, but we have the same vision. Deliver leading, enterprise-ready agent platform capabilities that power real-world use cases in production. And that's the key, right? You haven't actually delivered value until your agents are in production. We do that with a vertically integrated stack that lets you move from basic idea to production without having to rebuild all of the underlying plumbing every time you start a new project. It's organized into 4 areas. The first is build, where we bring you the ultimate toolkit. You can use over 200 models together with our major upgrades to the agent development kit in order to launch your agents. If you're a high-code developer, if you're a low-code developer, you can use our newly announced Agent Studio, and we also recently announced the Agent CLI, which Elia will be demonstrating here for us in a few minutes. Second, scales. We clear the path to production for you. Our upgraded agent runtime supports complex workflows that can run for up to 7 days. Sessions in Memory Bank give your agents persistent short and long-term memories, and our agent sandboxes provide isolated execution environments for agents and tools. We'll talk more about this section in a few minutes. Govern is our third area. You can manage your entire fleet with a single source of truth using agent identity, agent gateway, and agent registry. And finally, our optimized pillar, where we give you tools for agent simulation, evaluation, and observability. Elia will touch on these as well in his demonstration. Let's talk for a minute about some of the recent improvements and upcoming features for our agent runtime itself. Agent runtime is just a new name for what you probably know as Agent Engine, right? As always, this runtime ensures that the behavior stays consistent when you move from your development environment to production at scale. The refresh runtime provides provisioning in seconds and sub-second warm starts, and we recently released support for bidirectional streaming and long-running operations. To offer increased flexibility, you can now run agents using Python, Java, TypeScript, and Go, all the standard ADK languages. We let you customize your deployments with bring your own containers. We support resource-level IAM bindings, and we recently expanded to allow you to run up to 3,000 agents per project. Sessions in Memory Bank have also recently been released to general availability. Agent Sessions provides a managed service to store and manage individual interactions, ensuring a definitive source for contextual, for conversational context to drive personalization and relevance. The Memory Bank service extracts the relevant context from the sessions, integrates them into long-term memory, allowing agents to contextualize their actions and responses based on the user's unique history over time, whether that's days or weeks. Finally, agent sandboxes. Many of you have already used our code execution sandboxes, which are generally available, as a way to execute secure and isolated Python and JavaScript code. These offer sub-second startup times, and although most of these workloads are ephemeral, we do support TTL settings up to 14 days. And just launching last week, we have a newly expanded default library, making them easier for you to use. The Computer Use Sandbox is in preview for selected customers, offering low-latency Chromium-based browser automation. It offers network egress controls and support for agent identity. Additionally, we offer additional safety and human-in-the-loop features through integration with our computer use tool, but you can use any computer use model that you desire. Finally, if you need extra flexibility, we offer bring your own container sandboxes. These allow you to deploy custom libraries for advanced code execution use cases, a custom browser if Chromium isn't acceptable for you. You can even bring your own agent API. The sky is really the limit here. And we recently released our Snapshot API, which support for extended sandbox lifecycle states like pause and resume, fork, and rewind. Before I hand it over to Elia, I want to reiterate our vision. Our scale services provide a foundational platform for agents in production so that you can focus on the important stuff, rapidly creating and scaling differentiated value for your customers. Now I'll hand it over to Elia.
Thank you. OK. Hi, everyone. We're going to look at a demo. But first, doing that, I want to start with a statement here, which is prototyping is easy. Production should be too. So why is that? I'm sure many of you have prototyped with ADK, Agent Engine, all our agent platform stack. But Ryan mentioned some challenges that it comes when you actually trying to go to production, yeah? And so there are some challenges, and we want to make it easy for you to have an accelerated path to production. So why we have certain challenges? So many of you might be familiar with this circle you see here, right? So this shows the typical agent development lifecycle. You know, like as part of this development, we might have different phases. Typically, there is a first exploration phase. We try to understand what's important to solve a certain use case. Then we go into a designing phase. We start implementing some code. We start building tools, context engineering, evaluation, and then we iterate more and more into this phase. Finally, when we have reached a certain level of confidence, we say, let's actually try to deploy to a production environment. So we start the whole deployment process, CI/CD, finally we're in production, and then after we're in production, we start observing how our users are using our agent in production to then iterate back, yeah? So this looks really nice and simple. In practice, it's a hard topic. People might take months to do a single lap over this journey here. And leaving aside the fact that every time there is a new model, every time you discover an issue in production, you are going to loop over this journey you see here. It might not take you months to loop over a second time, but it might take you weeks. And we want for you to take it minutes. So this is the big difference. And so this is why today I'm really excited to announce Agent CLI. So Agent CLI is a product composed by a CLI and a set of skills designed for you and your coding agent to do the whole development lifecycle in minutes. It starts with an idea, and the idea is really simple. We expect you to build agents using coding agents. And so we want your coding agent to behave like an ADK expert, someone that knows really well every single part of developing agents in Google Cloud. It might know about agent runtime, about ADK, about memory, about session, so that you have a streamlined path to production. And we support all coding agents, Anti-Gravity, Gemini CLI, Codex, Cloud Code, Cursor, any coding agent, we support it. Once you install it, it's literally one-liner, and in a minute, you will have the full development lifecycle embedded into the coding agent knowledge, so that you can do the full end-to-end, building, evaluation, deployment, observability, publishing to Gemini Enterprise, for example. All that is possible. So let's have a look through a demo on how it looks like. OK, so I'm going to switch over. And for this demo, we're going to use Gemini CLI. Of course, let's try to see how it works by building such agent. We're going to ask a simple question. This is a demo, but we're going to say, use Agent CLI to build a customer support agent for Soulmate, an online shoe store. It should look up orders, check return eligibility, and process returns. Of course, for the demo, we are going to use dummy data, but you should use your own data for this. So let's enter it. And you can see that the first thing Gemini CLI will do, because we already installed Agent CLI within our environment, it will ask you whether you want to activate or not one of the skills for this. In this case, it's the Agent CLI scaffolding skill. Let's accept it. And you can see it's activating many skills that will be essentially providing knowledge to Gemini CLI on how to build this agent. You can see that we are starting with the first phase. The first phase is about answering question. Like if I were to work with you and I were to say, and you were to tell me, I want to build an agent, I will first ask you a clarifying question. Because like even coding agents might not have the full understanding of what you want to build. So the first thing is purpose. What problem will the agent solve? So let's say something like handle order status. API, let's use mock data. Safety, maybe we don't want to mention competitors, right? Don't mention competitors. Deployment. Do you want to deploy to all the different kind of providers we offer, or you want to prototype first? Let's start to prototype first. We will deploy later. OK, enter. I'm going to put in YOLO mode so that we can actually go fast on this. But you can see that the first phase will be about designing a spec so that you can approve the plan that the agent will carry on. And it will have example use cases, constraints, tools required, success criteria. And I expect you in a real scenario to iterate more and more into this part, right? It will then start scaffolding the starting point. So it will be a dummy agent that it will start to, and then Agent CLI with Gemini CLI will start writing ADK code for you, yeah? So you can see here is listing over all the files, is making changes to the ADK code in real time. It's then installing dependencies and starting testing the service. So you can see here, it's starting testing certain orders to see whether the plan is going to think. It's so fast that I'm even struggling to comment in real time, just to give you an idea. It will then start evaluation. This is a really important part. We want the agent to iterate over and over with you so that whatever you define as an evaluation criteria will be met through evaluation. So there are a bunch of features that are here are important. First of all, this will design for you the entire syntactic data set. Yeah? It will then carry over evaluation. And we don't expect evaluation to finish in one go, right? Maybe the first time it will run evaluation, it might not go well. But then what the agent will do is that it will go back to the coding agent. It will then start changing the code until evaluation is met, until everything is passing. So you can see here everything is passing, and it's also rerunning evaluation, so to make sure is adding multi-turn return processing to the eval set to ensure robustness. Yeah. So super, super cool. Now it's failing, but it might take some time and depending like different iterations to do that. Let's actually stop it and let's say I'm OK with it. I want to deploy to agent runtime. I'm OK with it. I want to deploy to agent runtime. What will happen here is that the agent will activate a different skill, a skill specific to deployment. It will add all the files required to run deployment, and then it will deploy our agent we just built in a minute to agent runtime. Now, this might take 4 or 5 minutes, right? So let's skip over. I have already a pre-deployed agent. You can see here a soulmate agent. I started already to send some traffic to it so that I can show you the second part of this journey, which is, OK, we have traffic in production. Our users are using our agent. How can we understand how the agent is behaving so that we can get insights into the agent and improve over time? This is a critical phase. Remember the graph I showed you where we have the circles and the lap? We are expecting you to go over this journey over and over. And the power is actually making sure you can go through this journey as fast as possible. Let's go into a different tab where I have the pre-deploy agent I showed you earlier. And I want to ask, use this agent. I want you to look at the traffic of the deploy agents and tell me how things are going. And here is the magic behind it. We make sure that whenever we are doing a deployment, we log all the metadata of the traffic that is in production, but also where the deployed agent is, what is the BigQuery table that is carrying over all the logs. What it will do here, it will explore our environment, our deployed agent. It will look at the view. We have a specific BigQuery view where we are storing all the traffic that is going through production through the agent, and it's starting running analysis on top of the data we are storing in BigQuery, which is so, so cool. So here is looking at the different kind of tool calls that the agent has made. And based on this, it will give you an understanding of how the agent is performing in production. Yeah. So again, the data in BigQuery looks really full of JSON, full of difficult to understand. What a coding agent can do for you is actually querying that data so that you can have a good understanding of the use case. In this case, it's saying the agent is performing as expected, successfully processing order tracking. I've identified certain things, blah, blah. OK, let's ask, is there anything I can do to improve it? A really simple question, but this shows you how we managed to do the entire end-to-end lifecycle, right? From defining the use case, evaluating it, deploying it, and then observing what's in production so that you can improve it. And because it's a coding agent, you can change the code of the coding agent, and make a PR so that we can go back into the deployment phase. So Agent CLI is public. It's available for every one of you. Go to just Google/Agent CLI. It's a GitHub repo. Curious to know what you build with it. And now I'm going to hand it over to Praveen, that is going to from Comcast. Yeah.
Thank you, Elia. Good morning, everybody. Well, okay. How many of you are Comcast customers here? Can you raise that? Oh, yeah. Thank you for being great customers. This session is for you. It's more about how we are redefining our customer experience with the power of AI. So you all have seen Xfinity Assistant. This is our digital chatbot where customers can come in, They can get the real-time information about their services, make payments, troubleshoot their services. This is all contained within the digital platform. And our engineering goal is to make it reusable. As you see here, we are embedding our Xfinity Assistant across all our Xfinity products, which helps us consistent customer experience across our products, and it can seamlessly transfer to the agents if it is required. So what is XA 2.0? With the advent of AI, we want to use the power of AI to make it more agentic. Today, you may have some experience about when you go to our Xfinity Assistant, we go and take you through a logical flow. If you are getting out of that flow, we are stuck, and we are sorry for that. This session is showing how we are going to improve that experience using agentic AI. And we are not stopping there. We are going to measure that using our first contact rate resolution, whether you are coming repeatedly to solve the same problem again and again. And at the same time, we are measuring based on your promoter score. So this is our quick design of how we are powering our agents. We have a steering agent that routes based on the user intent to all our sub-agents or the domain agents, which helps you to get to the right outcome or the right response, which also fetches data from our back office systems, context hub, and all others using MCPs and APIs. And this is all deployed in Vertex AI, developed using ADK toolkit. And I don't need to talk about Vertex AI because Ryan already mentioned there are a lot of benefit out of Vertex AI. I want to highlight few of them here. We will go through this in detail, but I'm not here to say everything is awesome. Every one of you in this forum may have faced any of these challenges. And good news is we have solutions for all of them. We work closely with Google Cloud team to brainstorm ideas and came up with solutions. Not digging deep into all of them, but I want to highlight just one. Session management. There is a problem with session management today. If you are creating an ADK agent, the session, which I mean when the user is interacting with your agent, we call it a session. Anything that you have in the session is stored within the agent. So you don't need to do any session management as an application development team. However, the problem is if you want to upgrade that agent, the session is gone. So think about a situation where a customer is in the middle of making their payment or troubleshooting their services. Behind the scene, we upgrade our agents with the latest code or new features, and our bot is asking them, how can I help you out? Right? That is the worst experience you could face. And we identified this during our trial within our employees. Thank you for being a guinea pig for those. So we identified them and found a solution along with our Google partners. The solution is to create a separate session agent that can work across all ADK agents, whatever you create. It's not specific to one agent. So the outcome is, first, the customers don't need to worry about whatever is going behind the scene. Second, the engineers don't need to worry about whether I am going to impact our customers because of my deployments. So that's how it's helping us. I want to quickly go through a couple of demos to showcase the power of what we have created. So most of the use case comes with the internet troubleshooting. People may have some issues here and there. So what do we do when we come with those problems? So we welcome them with all the context we have. If they have appointments, we show them. We welcome them. And this customer is experiencing a problem with their internet for a while. And maybe it's intermittent, so we didn't detect it and send proactive notifications. However, when the customer came in, our system detected, oh, we are seeing a problem with your account, we are going to troubleshoot. In this case, there is a situation where we couldn't troubleshoot within our platform, so we are offering the customers, hey, a technician should come to your house to fix this, and helping them to go through the appointment, scheduling an appointment for that live in the chatbot, right in the chatbot. As you see here, customers are saying some free-form text saying, like, I need Friday afternoon appointment. We understood that, like how the agents understood that, and are providing some time slot where the customers can pick up. So once this is done, what you are seeing here is we are providing a confirmation on that time slot and giving all the instructions what the customers need to know. There should be a person 18 plus at your house when the technician show up. So that's the So in this case, the customers, like we clarified all they want. The demo shows like 3 of the agents that we created, the greetings agent, the repair agent, and the appointment agent. All of them are working in coordination to help this customer to solve the problem. So now we scheduled an appointment, a technician need to show up. So when the customer comes back again, looking for on the scheduled date, we show them, hey, by the way, we are seeing an appointment on your account. And you see here, like we have a 2-hour window. Comcast technicians are great. However, the job we do is tough. There are a lot of complications with every visit that we do. So we give 2 hours. Sometimes they may running late from the previous job. So the customer is anxious, like I cannot wait for 2 hours. Tell me, where is my technician? Even though this may look like a simple use case, but it's a very important and critical use case for all our customers. We don't want them to wait. So the technician is on the way. When the customer asks, we tell them correctly, hey, this person is 15 minutes away, and are you okay with this, right? In this case, if the customer says, no, I'm not okay, we will offer them to reschedule as you have seen in the previous demo. So this is coming soon. We didn't launch this yet. It may look simple. We developed and deployed it in a day, but it can only do demo. There are a lot of things we have to do behind this. We need to find the accuracy of the data. We need to make sure there are policies are covered before even we enable this to our customers. But this is coming soon, right? All this work is not without the great people. Some of you are here from Comcast and Google. Thank you so much for coming in person. There are people watching from remote. Thank you as well. A lot of things went on. As a result, like we have deployed our agents, 50% of our customers are having this agentic experience. And I want to say one more time, thank you, everyone. From Palo Alto Networks.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here today. And what I want to do is take you on a deep dive on how Palo Alto Networks have built a production-grade reasoning ecosystem powered by Google Cloud Stack. Before we begin, a quick introduction. I'm Tejul Pandit, Senior Staff MLE at Palo Alto Networks, and the work that I'll be presenting today is done in collaboration with Secchi Mahendru, Principal MLE at Palo Alto Networks. Okay, so for years, industry has lived in what we call the old world of support. There's a static chatbot, it retrieves a document, opens a case, and then waits. Our customers needed something that was more proactive, not fast, and could understand what the problem really is. Understand the logs, the versions, the compatibility matrix, and all those details that go in a networking system. That's where we come into this new world, a new world built with agentic AI systems and can act autonomously and resolve the issues. An agentic AI system that can reason, act, and resolve all with full context. Now, to build this new world, we designed an architecture of trust. built on two specialized AI agents. One being the root agent, the orchestrator. It basically handles multimodal entry points, for example, a user uploading a photo, or gathers initial context and coordinates the entire downstream process. Second, we have the resolution, or the RCA agent, which is the specialist. It drives complex investigations using something called as DAG, or directed acyclic graphs, and assigns subtasks to synthesize a final remediation response. Linking both of these sub-agents or these agents is basically a session storage. It is the persistent thread that syncs the context between these two agents to ensure that our users never have to repeat themselves. This ecosystem is powered by a fully integrated Google Cloud stack where we have Gemini 2.5 and Gemini 3.0 flash models. This is a core LLM and helps providing complex multi-step reasoning and natural language understanding. Big tables and MySQL, which is used for high-performance storage of massive volumes of data. Vertex AI Search, which is basically a RAG pipeline to retrieve all the documents and maintain the knowledge base. And BigQuery and Looker Studio to provide real-time analytics, right from resolution rates to customer satisfaction rates. Now, let's look at this with an example or how it goes in practice. In phase one, imagine a user uploads a photo of the server rack and asks, why is this blinking orange? Well, this is where the root agent begins. It instantly activates parallel threads, not just parsing the text, but extracting entities, checking asset context, and detecting the sentiment, which is urgent. However, intelligence without safety is a liability. That's why we move to phase two. Phase two is production guardrails. This is basically where the system detects if the query is complete or not, if there's some form of ambiguity in it. It triggers a clarifying loop to re-query the user and identifies a critical signal to handle that, okay, this is a query that not something that the agent can handle, and provides a seamless human off-ramp. This is how you cross the AI divide without guessing. Now, let's assume that the root agent in our scenario is ready. It has all the possible context. It determines that this case is something that the agent can actually solve. This initiates phase three, which is the handover. The root agent is now going to provide all the context packet to our remediation or RCA agent through something called as session storage, which is either through big tables and MySQL. The RCA agent receives this information and begins investigation without missing a beat. In phase four, the deep dive, this is basically where the RCA agent will start performing the action. It iterates on its DAG up to 3 times to get metric scans, log scans, config scans, to get every possible information about the user's network, and continues until it can synthesize a final remediation response. Lastly, it was imperative to evaluate the effectiveness of this multi-agent system, for which our performance was measured with 4 key metrics. First being speed. We ensured that we are responding within 100 seconds for end-to-end resolution, so that our customers don't have to wait for a very long time. Engagement, a 2 to 5 second response latency that they see as the agent is thinking and looking at what exactly is going on behind the scenes. Efficiency for optimization, to limit cognitive overload to 3 consecutive turns. And finally, impact, a 24% autonomous resolution rate. These metrics reflect our commitment to both speed as well as quality in agent-driven support, ensuring a superior customer and engineer experience while reducing operational overload. Agentic AI is in the future of production support. It's running in production today. And we at Palo Alto Networks have built a system that reasons, not just retrieves, acts, not just responds, and learns, not just answers. Finally, please do join us for the discussion group happening later today at ReefF at 11:45 a.m., where we'll be showing a quick demo presented by Secchi Mahendru. Yep. Thank you.